Good afternoon, everyone. This is Haley Gibbs from the Hustle and Glow podcast. If you're new with me, whether you're behind on laundry, behind the chair, or in the chair, I have something to say to all of you. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to be talking about childhood trauma, being a better parent, and healing the things that you did not heal from, but now you're healing because you're a parent. And I think that it's a subject that a lot of parents don't talk about, especially, business owners, you name it. I feel like with our situation of owning a business, we try to act like everything's all good. And, sometimes life is not all good. Sometimes you are balancing a lot. You're juggling a lot. And for my situation, I have to go to child therapy with my child weekly for the co-parenting situation I'm currently in. And it's a really good thing because, it helps the children that are younger, be able to describe their emotions of what they have going on in general. And I think that more parents should have, accessibility to resources and research all the resources that are available for your child. Since beginning childhood therapy for our son, we've seen an immense change as far as being able to self-regulate and helping him regulate his emotions. I think that because for myself, I came from a divorced household and, obviously back in 1995 and then to the early 2000s, there wasn't a ton of resources. The internet was just up and coming. So our parents didn't have, what we have now to be able to give to our children. And I'm definitely a firm believer of you can either heal it now or choose to heal now, or you can heal later and, your situation or your mind frame is not going to change. And that's been a really big thing for my husband and myself of, healing our inner childhood, breaking generational curses, making sure that we show up and we are the best parents that we possibly can be for our children. And, not every day is rainbows and butterflies, but we definitely strive to be better than we were yesterday. And again, we take one day at a time. Every day is not great, but every day is a chance to be better. And I really like to do that, especially being a mom. And, like I said, I do juggle a lot. I work a lot. I mother a lot. And it's hard, but it's definitely worth it because seeing him gleam with light and change and evolve and everything that he's learning and his milestones, it's just really been amazing to be able to be a part of the journey and, hold his little hand all the way through it. And no matter what I have to put to the side or, he always comes first no matter what. And I think a lot of business owners struggle on that aspect of well, I have to work. And for me, I work around my child, period. So if our son has a play or a school event or this or that, I will firmly schedule everything that I have for my job around that. And I know that a lot of parents don't have that accessibility, but for me, it's not even a choice. Before I had children, I decided that with my salon, I was working 7 days a week before I had children. And I made a commitment to my future children that when I had children, I would not be working 7 days a week anymore. I would be off basically every weekend unless, I did not have my child due to the co-parenting situation. And that's firmly what I've stuck to with boundaries of my child. That way he doesn't feel, neglected in any way, shape, or form. And like I said, I think that everybody's situation obviously is different. But I'm just here to kind of, enunciate and give my testimony of what I've gone through and how I can help you guys with going through whatever you're going through, healing through the mess, surviving, and not just surviving, but also thriving. And I think it's important. And I think that sometimes it's okay to not be okay. And, you are the prime example to teach your children how to regulate everything in their lives. Giving them a schedule, a routine, mommy has to take a shower because, I have to take self-care. And recently what I learned with his child therapy, because, they also help the parents to be able to help the child. I told her, I was I struggle with mom guilt of, I shower last out of everybody in the household because I just have that mom guilt that I don't want to miss a second of his life. And I try to overcompensate for the things that I feel responsible for due to this co-parenting situation of what I've chose, And she was like, oh, no. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, you are the prime example teaching your child, hey, I have to take a shower because, mom's had a long day, but you're setting the example for your children to take care of themselves. And I was like, oh my gosh, you are right. So it's really changed my perspective about how I've been mothering. And I've seen a big difference with Cash because, I'm giving him the example of like, well, mommy has to take care of this, and giving him the explanation of why. And whether that be self-care or, doing the dishes, but I'm explaining to him like, well, we have dirty dishes, so mommy has to clean them. That way we have clean dishes. Whatever the case may be, but I've seen a big change of not having that mom guilt and not putting everything to the side to make sure he's prioritized 100% at all times, but also teaching him that I am a human and to not expect that from his future wife, that she's just going to drop everything for, every moment in his life. And at the end of the day, I am raising somebody's husband. And that's why I think it's so important, and when Cash's therapist taught me this, I was like, girl, that makes so much sense. She's like, don't have the mom guilt. You're teaching your children how to self-regulate. You're teaching them that like, hey, you might need a break. Hey, you might have a headache. Like, this is real world things. And I was like, wow, that is life changing, because for me, like, I'm not even going to flex. Like, I definitely put myself on the back burner to make sure that, like, I don't miss a beat, I don't miss a moment, and he doesn't feel the absence of anything. And I just really like that thought process of, I don't have to feel guilty anymore because I am teaching my child how to be in the future, or how to be somebody's husband, or what real life looks like. That it's not just all go, go, go. And I really like the breakdown that she had for that. Well, and then also, and if you also are new here, basically what we do is my child goes to his biological father's on Tuesdays, and then has like a short visit on Thursdays, and then goes for a short visit on every other Saturday. So for us, we have transitional issues of when he comes back from visitation. And, even though my podcast is Hustle and Glow, and a lot of it is beauty focused or hair talk, you name it, I definitely like to get real with my audience and explain to them too that I am a mother, always first. You know how I am. But also I am a real human, and I also do go through actual things, even though I don't talk about anything personal on my own social media, because I don't feel like that's, 4,000 people's business. I try to speak to my audience now in a positive manner that, like, hey, we can heal through it together. We can go through it together. We can glow through it together. But we're going to get through it no matter what together. And I think sometimes, like, for moms especially, we just need that voice to even have somebody to listen to relate and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And I think that for me, podcasts, before I even did my own, that was like one of my main, staples of how I was getting through the day, was listening to somebody else give me advice, or give, not even advice, because obviously the person you're listening to on the podcast has absolutely no idea what you're going through. But when you do find one that is relatable, you're like, oh, this hits, this touches. And it's cool to see how other people live their life. And if you can jive with that, then you're like, all right, I like what they're talking about. So that's why I really try to touch on things that are relatable. And like I said, even though I look like the American, beautiful white picket fence family online, we do go through different things. And even though they're not publicized, I still like to talk about it on these type of things, because that's really why I made these type of things. That way I can explain to you guys that I'm not just a salon owner. I'm not just a hairdresser. I am a mom. I do be going through some real life stuff. But also, I've pushed through, and I've pushed through, and I've pushed through. And hopefully, if you're listening to this and you're going through hard times, that you can, continue to keep listening, and hopefully I'm helping you get through whatever you're going through, and know that you're not alone, and know that you are human, and that moms do make mistakes, and that, sometimes moms are overstimulated and dads sometimes don't understand, or vice versa. But either way, if you've been listening this long, then I am here for you. Feel free to drop comments, send a direct message. If you need somebody to talk to, or there's topics that you're like, Haley, like, how do I get through this? Or you need advice or whatever, I'm here for that, Well, that's all I have for today, guys. So I'm going back into the therapy office. If you have not yet, follow me on YouTube. It's Hustle and Glow Podcast. Link is in the bio. And if you're also new here, Please like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, subscribe for more content. I like to post daily. Today I'm doing something different, so stay tuned for the next video.